Hello, everyone. My name is Alan Silks, and I will be sharing with you my group service project that I was leading. I led it this past Saturday on March 6th, and I called it the Localized Clean Green Community Cleanup. It happened in York City, Pennsylvania, 15 minutes north of where I live. So you might be asking, where is York, Pennsylvania? Well, York, Pennsylvania is a little bit below Harrisburg. But this is an aerial shot just to give you an idea of the size. We really don't have any key downtown areas that have large skyscrapers or anything like that. We're more rural, but we do have some farmers markets and things like that. So if you look in the middle of the white circle, that's where we worked, kind of near the center. There's a park right above, with here you can see it's fall, so all of those trees up there that have the beautiful fall colors, they're in Farquhar Park. So we did 5 blocks just south of Farquhar Park. That's where we worked. We were collecting trash. There you can see us picking up trash. But yeah, so we just went, picked up trash, helped out the community. This is an idea of what the townhomes that are in the city look like. So for me as a leader, I had 2 key visions. The first one was for cleanup participants to have an increased appreciation for their neighbors and community. And my second vision was to increase walkability, biking, and community ownership in York City. The community ownership aspect of it, I'll talk about later. Looking at my objectives, I sought to represent diversity. I wanted to fill at least 5 trash bags. We had that cleanup location that we chose right below Farquhar Park to fulfill the vision for the walkability and bikeability aspects. Just trying to get community members out during the spring now that the snow's melted. And by picking up the streets, just increases the walkability and bikeability. People, at least from my experiences in living in Spokane, the city of Spokane in Washington State, where I spent the past 3 years, I felt much more comfortable walking and biking somewhere where there wasn't a lot of trash on the street. So we picked our location that way. I wanted to select a community business or a group of neighbors who would be willing to take the trash out at the end of the project, just somewhere where we could dump the trash bags. I didn't really want to have them dropped off in people's individual garbage cans because that's kind of an inconvenience to them. So I ended up finding a dumpster that we could dump them off at, and one of my participants was really helpful with that. We sought to create a procedure to work together socially distanced, helped lead that, and kind of divided people up in family unit groups that they could work in. Family unit as a loose term because a lot of us weren't from the same family, but just social groups of people that were together for periods of time. And then we also sought to form a clean area in the community that was inviting for neighbors to utilize the space well. So getting into just what the day looked like, we had my predicted time frame and my actual time frame. Predicted was pretty close to the actual. I ran into, one minor thing is I forgot to list water as one of the supplies that we would need. So I managed and brought in all of the supplies beforehand with the gloves. I got latex gloves as a base layer, and then a fabric cloth or leather glove for them to use just to keep their hands safe while they were working. We had heavy-duty trash bags. I had extra masks for people, and I brought water. The prayer and just talking over the review took a little bit longer of just what our goals were, because we had some people show up late, but being a leader, being flexible so we don't get, blessed are the flexible because they don't get bent out of shape. So it was really good just to be flexible with everyone and start with everyone as a team. The length of cleanup was spot on. I wanted to have the length be about an hour, maybe a little bit longer. But one of the things here that I wanted to bring up is I just didn't mention that I needed a place to drop off the bags. I mentioned it in my goals, but I didn't mention it in my schedule. So That ended up adding a half hour, so just it wasn't that big of a deal because I didn't have any plans directly afterwards. But in the future, I definitely would want to be more comprehensive and have that be a part of my predicted time frame. So let me talk about the individuals here. The first two, their names are Sam and Selah, and there you can see Sam in the red windbreaker, and Selah's with the purple windbreaker. But they both are community members that live in York. They're very welcoming neighbors. They have a heart for serving people, and live in the neighborhood that we were serving in. Selah, she works for York Fresh Food Farms. She's a manager there, and they're a nonprofit organization that essentially is like a garden that takes all of the produce that they grow and you give it away as a food pantry. So it's like a food pantry that grows their own vegetables, and so they grow all organic. Really wonderful organization to work with, but they have a dumpster on their property, so I was able to use my social network with Selah and Sam and my relationship with them prior and be able to have access to their dumpster. So that was super wonderful. She ended up, I drive a little sedan, so she very graciously let me use the back of her truck to haul the trash over. So just overall, really wonderful people. Sam's a college student in the area, and he's pursuing his degree in engineering at York College, which is just probably within 5 minutes away from this area. So it was just wonderful to be able to work with them. They were both really good, hard workers, knew the community well, and had that sense of community ownership that I mentioned earlier. They just, even though they live in a community that would otherwise be viewed as like a less off part of town, they love where they work. They both, with their house, have a discounted rent because they manage the yard for the landlord, and they just very quickly and readily take ownership and responsibility of the things around them. So they were wonderful to work with. They were kind of my two key team members of the team. And then the rest of the team was these four gentlemen. Colton and Brandon, they're both my brothers. Brandon's my twin brother, and Colton's my younger brother. And Colton goes to York College too, and so do Wyatt and Shayi. Wyatt and Shayi were Colton's friends, so I was able to social network through Colton and get in contact with a few of his friends and be able to invite them along too. One of the big things that I really wanted to do with this project was to have people participate that either live or work or study in the area. I think it's really important that when for me, trying to help disciple and lead people to have community ownership, to be people that live in the community, I think it's it would definitely be a little odd and uncomfortable if people from outside the community were coming in to pick up the trash. I think it might pick up trash, but I don't think it would do much for the community, other than just the aesthetic and the physical work that we were doing. So doing it with community members helps them build a pride of ownership, helps them learn some responsibility, and just that selfless love and servanthood that it means to just wash their neighbors' feet, and they're the feet of the community members. There's nothing really glorious about picking up trash. It's not really the most fun thing, and sometimes if our character gets the best of us, can be a little grumbling of like, why do I have to clean up after these people that just throw trash around? But I think a big part of it is just us giving people the benefit of the doubt and giving grace where it's deserved. In this instance, I felt like, and you'll see here later with the before and after pictures, some of it is just single-use plastics that was just blown around. We had a lot of wind, and it just was through winter. So I felt like for the time of year, it was probably a little bit worse than it normally would be during the summer. But yeah, the other part of it, there were some houses where you could just tell that like people sat on their porch and would throw all of their cans right beside their porch, and that's okay. I think it's not okay that they're doing that because it's littering, but at the end of the day, we're there to serve and love them. So these group of guys are really hardworking. All of them were very goal oriented. They wanted to reach that 5-bag limit as soon as possible. And so they did it in 30 minutes, and I wanted to work with them for an hour. So as their leader, it was kind of a turning point where about halfway through I was like, okay. They were like, can we go now? And I was like, well, we're here for an hour and we reached our limit. Let's double it. So we went back out and grabbed 5 more bags, and it was just a good experience leading them. I was really pleased with just their response to that. They didn't grumble or complain at all. They were just very very energetic, willing to go back out and fill out 5 more bags without a word. So for a good group of guys. Looking at the before and after pictures, there's some stormwater drains that were around there, so we definitely made sure that we got those cleaned up, just to make sure that none of that stuff was going out to the river. There was this spot where, again, a lot of it was just trash that was alongside the curb. I think when the wind's blowing it, the curb kind of catches a lot of it, and if there's anything on the roads when they plow, that all just gets pushed to the side too. But here in the after photo, you can see there's some trash that was over here in this corner. And with that was one of those instances where I feel like it was we could make an educated guess that was from the resident that was there. But I was working with my brother Colton in this spot, and it was just really wonderful seeing, his reaction and being able to lead him well in that, where he was complaining. He's like, why is there's just all this trash that's here, and this person just threw it beside their porch. Like, why do we have to pick it up? And that was a really good opportunity to be able to speak some truth and just help him have a servant's heart in that we're here to serve. And sometimes, people don't do the right thing, and they don't act in ways that we might view as logical, but we want to be there to serve and love them no matter what. So here's another photo. The before and after, just those, I don't know what they're called, but that area of grass that's between the sidewalk and the road usually carried a lot of the trash too. But yeah, just a lot of disposable stuff, water bottles, single-use plastics, tin cans, you name it. With our project, I didn't take a whole lot of before photos, but just afterwards you could tell just the street and the sidewalks, they were all clear. Just made everything look just a little bit nicer, and just being able to serve them. Well, I know Sam and Selah, I talked to them, and they were both very grateful for the work that we did. They said that, thank you for leading this project, because while we've done a lot of work with our backyard, it really empowered us to be able to have a more broader impact and, clean up around the different blocks that are in our neighborhood. So it's just really wonderful to be able to work with them. It felt good to empower them a little bit to get out and serve. But yeah, I was so thankful that I was able to find some good college students that, study in that community, that they'd be able to be a part of it. Their college doesn't have any requirements for them to do any community service work or ministry projects or anything like that. So just giving them that sort of an experience was just a joy. Our goal, like I said, was to fill 5 trash bags, and we had 10. I ended up filling up a whole truck bed. And here you see my brother Brandon. He came with me afterwards, just seeing his willingness to, after we were done that extra half hour, he just wanted to stay and help out some more. So it was wonderful. So did we meet our objectives to represent diversity? There was a leader in student council at York College. That's a friend of mine that I grew up with. Her name's Sophie Barnes. And I was just very looking forward to working with her, and she ended up catching COVID and wasn't able to attend. So that was kind of a bummer, because I was just looking for someone that was more in a leadership position at the college that's local. But I think I was able to find some people that were from York College that, really benefited from this. We met our goal with the trash bags. We met our goal with the location. We selected that group with the organization to drop off the trash bags, and that worked really well. We stayed socially distanced in our family groups, and we were able to clean up the area. So overall, we met all of our objectives. I think So I was really excited about that.